Yep, we just covered up how to make a simple MySQL connection through PHP. Now it's time to get into our actual application. So we are building a blog. So before we get into the application, make sure everything has been organized. So for that, for creating APIs, I'll create a directory called API. So where my entire APIs are going to be into the directory. Like I'll be putting my APIs into that directory. So in that I'll have another directory called v1. So in case I just wanted to add a new APIs, like after the deployment, I'll not disturb the existing ones. Instead, I'll create another directory called v2 and adding those APIs. Okay, so it's like increment order. For now, I assume like so there are multiple people, right? So coming to its management, like there are multiple roles and multiple stuff. So based on users, if you split the APIs, it's like public ones and the protected ones and the privileged ones, indicating like based on roles we'll be giving the stuff, and based on the authentication. So if user is logged in, we'll be showing some stuff. If not, we'll be showing some stuff. If the user has got some special permissions, he'll be given into some authentication link. He'll be shown with some stuff, right? So it's all about different stuff. So based on that you could divide. For now, I'll just not do that. I'll just create an file called index.php here. Okay, I'll just keep it. So on other side, inside the APIs, I'll create a directory called databases. So database. So in the database, I'll have another file called index.php. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm creating an entire framework into multiple parts. So I'll just directorizing, like I'm categorizing this stuff. So here I'm going to have the database. Okay, so inside database I'll have the PHP. First let me start the PHP code. Okay, so we'll start the class. Oops. Okay, we'll say the class database. Okay, so I'll just leave it like this for now. So I'll say here class. So I think we need to start with PHP, right? PHP, and then a class which is named as v1, and then yeah. So yeah, I'll just leave it like this for now. So I'll just remove this code. So this is our actual application, guys. So instead of APIs, we'll having another thing called components. So apart from APIs, we'll be having components like the front end stuff. So we'll be dividing that into another directory. So I'll just name it as components. So let's find it simple. Oops. Yeah, click on here and create a directory called components. uh, it's better to name it as controllers. Okay, okay, let's leave it as components. That's okay. Yep. So in the components we'll have again index.php. So I'll just put this yeah. So yeah, I just also forgot to mention, actually could install some extensions. So yeah, so there is some kind of blocked thing, so you could install some extensions which is going to help you, like it's going to suggest some suggestions when you're using the extension stuff. So that will be helpful for auto code completion. Okay, so yeah, just so one is enough, guys, for now. So let us deal with some other stuff. So we got the components. So first we got already this one running. Yep, good. So let me uh, do one thing. Okay, so before we jump into the stuff, I mean, this is how the diet structure going to be. But before we jump into developing this stuff, I just want to show you how a simple API is going to be. Okay, so for that I'll be not going to touch this directory. So that's how a directory will be. So in coming up episodes or the future episodes, I'll be showing you how those things works and how we are going to further continue that. So now let's create a simple API. Okay, so API is nothing but a JSON format. Okay, so for that, assume I have I'll just okay, let me get the code back. Yeah, so row is like a, it's not actually an array, but it's like a, it's an associated like a MySQL object. It's not actually row. So I'll create an array. Okay, so I'll create my own array saying that result response. Okay, I'll just name it as response, and I'll say it's an array. Oops, no, it's not just good. Yeah, there you go. So I'll say it's an array. So every time instead of printing it, I'll just say print. Oh, sorry. Oops. Okay. I'll say response of dollar row of UID. So if you just observe the my every table has an ID, so it's saying that. So I'll just put it as a key and push this row as into that. Since there is no data types, there is no problem. We could fetch that. So we are killing this stuff, right? That's okay, no problem. So I'll just say echo JSON underscore encode. Okay, so already you could see the extension is working pretty good. It's suggesting me JSON underscore encode of dollar response. So this is a simple API, guys. So if you check out, okay, so if you see an API is simply like a response. Okay, it's going to give you either a JSON or an XML response. Okay, we could call it as an API. So I'm sending my common response in the form of JSON here. Okay, so let's go to the browser and see how it works. So now you could see the format has been changed. Previously it's like square brackets and stuff, so it just changed. Now it's giving me the perfect required output. So the problem still is we doesn't need this stuff, so we shouldn't print any other stuff except the JSON. So here I'm gonna kill it. I'm just gonna kill that. So only thing I have to do is uh, you know that stuff. The problem, the other problem here is the actual it's putting me in the die conditions by putting that. So I doesn't want that to. So in case the local host, I mean the connection fails, I just want it to be returning in the JSON format itself. So for that I'll just put my response on the top up, and here I'll create my response variable before anything else. So in case the connection fails, I'll just do the same thing, response of error. So I'll add a key named error and I'll put connection failed in that. So the die will be an empty one, so it doesn't print any message. It just keeps death. The same as the query failed option. So in case the query has failed, I'll just use the same error key. So I'll just pass it as an output. Yeah, I'll use this response to forward and communicate with the client. So let me launch the Postman and show you how these APIs can be called and works. Okay. Yep. So this is the Postman. So simply I'm gonna copy my URL from here and just paste it here, and I'm gonna say it's index.php. Okay, it's better. So I'm gonna send the request. So I'm not touching anything here. So you could see if I set to raw, okay, pretty, and then to JSON, you could see this is my actual response. So I'm not this is how a REST API works. Okay, so this is how a simple API can be working. So you handle errors and you're gonna display it. So I need to fix some package ramp and stuff to get it done. So for now this is how it works. Okay, so now we are getting pretty good API, so we're not dealing with the errors. But if we, in case there is no errors, assuming there are no errors in our database, like code on the database stuff, then this is how it should be. So when you make a query, the result, the API should be sending this kind of stuff. Now we are going to use this stuff in the front end to do whatever we want. Okay, so that's about this one, and I'll be meeting in the next one. Yeah.